63 degrees, slight overcast here, but very pleasant at Ray Fisher Stadium in downtown Ann Arbor. Welcome, everybody. Zach Linfield here with you, alongside my good friend Nick Mascaric. So glad to have you along as we get you ready for game one of a three-game weekend series between Michigan and Northwestern right here on WCBN Sports Ann Arbor. The Wolverines had a quiet week of rest after returning from Minneapolis on Sunday night as the Maize and Blues salvaged the series with a win on the final day of the road trip to take one of three from Minnesota. Michigan's defense was terrific during the three games. They allowed just 9 total runs over the entirety of the series, but the offense never got into a groove as the team played at just 6 runs of their own over 3 games, which led to the 2 losses. Michigan's manager Tracy Smith only had to use 5 arms against Minnesota with how impressive the 3 starting pitchers were at Minnesota. So the bullpen earned a rest, especially with no midweek contest prior to the series here with Northwestern as we close in on first pitch here in Ann Arbor. We got a treat today as Connor O'Halloran takes the bump for the final time in Ann Arbor this season. The Canadian Southpaw will face off against right-hander Michael Farinelli for the Wildcats. Well, Sunday marked a big win for Michigan after dropping 5 of the last 6. The win in the finale in Minneapolis propelled the Wolverines back into a 3-way tie for 5th place in the Big Ten with the just conference games 6 left on the schedule. But let's get to the keys of the game here this afternoon as Michigan and Northwestern are just about set to take the field here in Ann Arbor. For Michigan, it's attacking Farinelli early in counts and being aggressive, swinging the bat from the get-go. Once he got into a groove last weekend against Indiana, he was extremely efficient in the Friday night game. In Michigan's lone win of last weekend, they scored 3 runs in the first inning, and they never looked back against the Golden Gophers. Expect the Wolverines to come out swinging the bat early today. Northwestern enters this series with an overall record of 8-35 and a 3-15 mark in conference play. They find themselves at the bottom of the Big Ten. Well, Michigan, they find themselves 1 game above 500 at 23-22 and a 10-8 conference record, which puts them again tied for 5th place in the Big Ten Conference, as the Big Ten tournament, only 8 teams allowed, is coming up super soon. Let's meet our starting lineups this afternoon for the series opener. First, for manager Jim Foster and the Northwestern Wildcats. Leading off in, playing left field, Luke Tanner. Batting second, the first baseman, Bennett Markinson. Batting third, the center fielder, Griffin Arnone. Batting cleanup right fielder, Stephen Harustich. Batting fifth and doing the DHing, Alex Kolarko. Batting sixth and doing the catching, Cooper Ford. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Evan Minervik. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Owen McOlfatrick. And batting ninth, the second baseman, Tony Livermore. Towing the rubber is Michael Farinelli for the visitors. Here's how Tracy Smith scribbled in his lineup for Michigan to open this series. Leading off shortstop, Cody Jeffress. Batting second, second baseman, Ted Burton. Batting third, the right fielder, Joey Velasquez. Batting fourth and doing the DHing this afternoon for Michigan, Jimmy Obertop. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Jack Vandermortel. Batting sixth and in left field, Tito Flores. Batting seventh and at the hot corner, freshman Mitch Voigt. Batting eighth behind the plate, Gabe Sotres. And rounding things out today for the Maize and Blue, center fielder Greg Pace Jr. The Michigan hurler today will be the Friday mainstay left-hander Connor O'Halloran. Michigan's defense is about set to take the field. Michigan will be in their all-white uniforms today with the navy caps and the famed black M right on the center as we welcome Nick Mascaric into the broadcast. Nick, it's been a while since you've been up here in the broadcast booth, but from a different perspective. You and I have seen a couple of the games from the stands this year, but now in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while since we've been together at a game, like you said, but it's always good to get out to the ballpark.
Our 4-man umpiring crew here today for a series opener between Michigan and Northwestern. Home plate umpire Grady Smith will call balls and strikes. On the first base side, Robert Lothian. At second base, Daniel Jimenez. And over at third base, it's Brent Rice. Well, one thing's true about this series. It's a must-have For the fellas wearing maize and blue, currently standing huddled together down the third base line between home plate and third base, as they had a golden opportunity to go and knock off the Golden Gophers in Minneapolis this past weekend, but Minnesota took 2 of the first 3 games in that series. Michigan was able to salvage it with a win on Sunday behind an absolute gem from Jacob Denner. But now it's continued to be served to them on a silver platter. They've got last place Northwestern here for 3 this weekend, and then a rivalry next weekend, Thursday through Saturday, as they visit Ohio State in Columbus. So they got 3 of the bottom 4 teams in the Big Ten Conference to finish out the year. And certainly, probably not how the Big Ten Conference intended that to be scheduled. But Nick, I'd say that's a pretty good deal for Michigan to have, a little clearance sale at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's always good to have a little bit of an edge going into your last season or last series of the season.
Michigan's defense has officially taken the field, and Northwestern about set to take the plate. As Michigan's defense continues to get warmed up, we get ready to see the 20-year-old native of Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Connor O'Halloran, a 7-4 record, to go along with an ERA that ranks second in the Big Ten Conference at 3.07, primarily a mix of fastball, slider, changeup. Uses the curveball just a bit, not much usage though this season. His strikeout numbers relative to this time last season are very, very similar. O'Halloran struck out 104 batters a year ago and sits just 15 away from that number this year, with at least 2 starts remaining here in 2023. He'll have this start here today, Friday, against Northwestern, which was supposed to be a 6 p.m. start, but due to potential rain, 1 p.m. is the new start time. Northwestern in their road purple tops, gray bottoms, and their purple caps today. You and I were talking about it earlier. It's a good look for Northwestern.
Yeah, I've always liked the purple. And they changed up the logo on the helmets and the hats. Looks pretty good.
From the right side, Luke Tanner steps in. Finally finds his way into the box. Connor O'Halloran digs into the glove, and we are underway from Ray Fisher Stadium with a fastball swung on and tipped into the glove of Michigan's Gabe Sotrace. A swing and a miss to start of the afternoon for Connor O'Halloran. He's certainly gotten plenty of those this season. The 0-1 is popped down the right field line. Medium depth, but will be out of play. We'll hit the onward to Omaha poster out of play down the right field line. Quickly 0-2. Connor O'Halloran chasing that number 104 strikeouts last season, and where he really grew a lot. And now his junior season has been something special for the left-hander from Ontario. Here's the 0-2 to Tanner. Right down the middle, a little high, but swung on and missed. And Connor O'Halloran now has strikeout number 90 on the season. So 1 batter, and he closes in just a touch on that number 104. Bennett Markinson steps in, the first baseman for Northwestern. Into the windup, the motion for O'Halloran. First pitch popped up down the right field side, but will be out of play back into the parking lot. A lighter crowd on hand today. Likely expected a much larger crowd if this game would have been played at the original scheduled 6 p.m. 0-1 again fouled off a little bit harder this time from the right-handed swinging Bennett Markinson. It's 0-2. Well, 5 pitches for O'Halloran, 5 strikes. I'd say that's efficient. Middle of the rubber, Connor O'Halloran steps back and fires. That's driven in the left field, sending Flores back to the track, and he will make a catch standing sideways, and he'll backpedal and fire the ball back into the cutoff man, Cody Jeffress. 2 up, 2 down. Connor O'Halloran wasting no time here in the first inning, and he's 6 for 6, throwing a lot of strikes. He'll meet his first lefty up in the 3-hole today, center fielder Griffin Arnone, batting .244. 22 RBIs on his season, a team leading 8 home runs. First pitch swinging in left field. Flores, no problem. Makes his way back, makes his way in, and makes the catch, and that will end the top of the first inning. We get to meet Michigan's offense when we come back. No score here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. This is your home for Michigan baseball. Quick work for Connor O'Halloran in the top of the first inning as Michigan gets set to face off against the right-handed throwing number 29, Michael Farinelli for Northwestern. Certainly not a great season for him so far, a 1-8 record, over 46 and a thirds innings pitched, 44 earned runs, but his strikeout numbers are good relative to the amount of walks, 36 Ks, 12 walks. We were watching him in his warm-up, and Nick, you mentioned he had a bit of an open stance. He's throwing the ball relatively hard.
Yeah, he's fairly offset on the mound as well. He's on the far left, and you like to see in his windup, he steps almost off the plane and back in.
So Cody Jeffress steps in to lead off for Michigan, the left-hander, former transfer, has found a home here in Ann Arbor. Not batting for much power this season, 27 RBIs, no home runs. Farinelli delivers to Jeffress, and he shoots one foul down the left field line out of play. Northwestern's defense left to right in the outfield. Tanner, Arno, and Harustich. Across the infield, Minarvik at third, McOlfatrick at short, Livermore second, Markinson at first, and Cooper Ford does the catching. 0-1 line drive down the right field line. That'll be a fair ball into the corner. Cody Jeffress with some wheels will make his way into second as Harustich has some trouble with it in the corner. The relay throw comes in, a leadoff double for Cody Jeffress, and a strong start for the Wolverines on offense. Well, he got the fastball in, and he certainly didn't waste any time with it, did he? Double number 12 on the season for the transfer from San Diego in California. And now the man that had the nickname Teddy Two-Bag steps into the right side. 287 average for Ted Burton. A sharp ground ball to third. Minarvik makes a good play, a sidearm throw to first base where Markinson makes the catch. He looked back Cody Jeffress, an intelligent play by the third baseman playing in on the grass. It was a nice play, though. He had to go to his backhand and throw out Ted Burton by 2 full steps over at first base. And 1 pitch to get Ted Burton. Now Joey Velasquez steps in, a native of Columbus, Ohio. Dual sport athlete, but has really been coming on the baseball side this season. Average now up to 264 as he takes fastball in the outside corner for a strike. 1-2-3 top of the first inning for Connor O'Halloran and the Michigan defense. No score here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Here's the 0-1 out of the stretch from Farinelli. Another fastball. This one blitzes the outside corner, but it's a bit off. Cooper Ford not able to frame that pitch. Looks like Farinelli's sitting just south of 90 miles an hour from the right side. But you mentioned it too, Nick. He's working way over on the first base side. Of back pick to second base is close, but Cody Jeffress read it the whole way. The shortstop McOlfatrick tried to sneak up on him. A ball and a strike in the count to Joey Velasquez, who hovers over the plate, waves the bat out once towards Farinelli. Now rests it on his left shoulder, picks it up, and waves it just slightly. The 1-1. Swung on, breaking ball, right through it, 1-2. Boy, that pitch had some movement to it, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it got him a little bunched up.
Seems to be the one that would typically buckle your knees, but Joey was able to stay put with his feet. He just swung a little bit early on it. Here's the 1-2 from Farinelli. Swung on and missed. Same exact pitch, a little bit lower this time, and Velasquez goes fishing for Farinelli's first strikeout of the afternoon. So following the leadoff double for Cody Jeffress, Jimmy Obertop takes the plate as Michael Farinelli has settled in for the next two batters at least. A slow start for Jimmy after an injury-riddled beginning to the season. There's a line shot towards the right side. That'll find the gap. Jeffress coming around third. He'll try to score. The throw from Harustich to the plate is not in time. And Michigan's got a 1-0 lead on the third RBI of the shortened campaign for Jimmy Obertop. It was in on the hands, and Jimmy did exactly what he had to do with it. Rotate early, get to the ball, and he just got enough of the barrel to shoot it through the right side. Tony Livermore was shading the second base side, couldn't make a play, and Harustich, who was playing relatively shallow, was not able to make a throw in time. It was an on-target throw, but Cody Jeffress, plenty of speed, was able to score. Farinelli quickly checks over Jimmy Obertop at first base. Not much of a threat to steal over there, Jimmy. Hasn't attempted a stolen bag this season. Jack Vandermoort will take strike one, low and in. So a good start at the plate for Michigan. We had mentioned in the pregame that in the series against Minnesota, the only game they scored in the first inning, they won. Fastball. This one's inside, almost grazed the belt line of Jack Vandermoort, who bats from the right side. A 1-0 Michigan lead here, bottom one, two away. 1-1 count with Jimmy Obertop at first base. Northwestern's defense plays shifting left to Vandermoort. Checked to swing, did go around. I think he got a piece of it on a breaking ball into the outside corner for strike two. .291 average for Vandermoort this season. 3 home runs, 21 runs knocked in. 1-2 from Farinelli. Fastball high. Delayed steal for Obertop. He runs down to second. Good throw from Cooper Ford. But Livermore dropped the ball, and he dropped his glove as well. Well, Jimmy Obertop, who we mentioned, is not much of a threat to steal. I think his father or some family member may be here in attendance because that is not the forte of Jimmy Obertop to swipe a bag. Well, he's got one. Jimmy was dealing with an elbow injury for the entirety of the year, coming off surgery. Comes through here in the first inning with an RBI. 2-2 with Jack Vandermoort as Farinelli looks back at Obertop, not covered, throws home, checks his swing. Did he go? Yes, sir, he did, says first base umpire Robert Lothian. Michigan picks up one as we are done with one from here in Ann Arbor. 1-0 score. Michigan on top as we head to the second here on WCBN Sports. 1-0 Wolverine lead after the bottom of the first inning. Jimmy Obertop, an RBI single on a flare to right field, scores. Cody Jeffress, who led off the inning with a double on an impressive first inning on the mound for the left-hander, Connor O'Halloran. Stephen Hrustich leads off for Northwestern, and he bloops one foul out of play down the right field line. Here's the 0-1 from O'Halloran. Swung on and driven into right field. That sends Velasquez way over. That's off the top of the wall and comes back into play. Hrustich sprinting towards second. Ted Burton gets the cutoff throw, and it's back into play, but Hrustich is back into first. It bounced off the top of the wall and came back into play. Hrustich wants him to take a look at it. The umpiring crew will likely have a conversation here about what has happened here. So first base umpire Robert Lothian was the one that would have made the call. Joey Velasquez made the throw back in. Jim Foster, Northwestern's manager, was out to argue. And by the way, that was the second stolen bag for Jimmy Obertop in his career. Just a second. So we got to see a momentous occasion here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, delayed steal was almost when the ball ended up getting into the catcher's glove because I looked away for a second. He was halfway down the base path.
And officially the call, Robert Lothian says, nope, it's just a single. So Connor O'Halloran can exhale just a bit, as it was that close to being a tie ball game. That ball just kept carrying and carrying towards the foul pole down the right field line where it reached 320. It hit off the top of the fence and somehow made its way back in to the field of play. There's strike one, low in the zone to Alex Calarco. So that likely is the longest single of the year here in Ann Arbor. Calarco bats .291 and takes a ball low and in from O'Halloran. Similar velocities on the fastball between the two starting pitchers this afternoon. Just a hair below 90 miles an hour, it seems, for both O'Halloran and for Farinelli. 1-1. There's a breaking ball. The slider backdoors him. It's now 1-2 to the right-handed swinging Alex Calarco. Native of Wilmette, Illinois. The 1-2 swung on and missed a beautiful breaking ball inside from Connor O'Halloran, and he's got his second punch out of the day. When he is pinpointing that fastball and he throws the breaking ball, especially inside to righties, it is a long day for the opposition at the plate. The left-hander quickly throws over to check on Stephen Hrustich. Checks his wristband as Gabe Sotrace sends out the signals to O'Halloran. Fresh count with Cooper Ford, the catcher for the Wildcats. First pitch popped up out of play. Just to our right, Zach Linfield here with Nick Muscaric, just perched behind home plate, behind the right-handed batter's box, maybe a bit to the left of that. Connor O'Halloran from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, will check over again to Hrustich, who led off this inning with a single, which bounced off the top of the wall and came back in to the field of play, relayed by Joey Velasquez. Pitch to Ford, swung on and missed. Fastball up and away. Ford waits on the 0-2 as O'Halloran stares at Hrustich. The pitch is fouled off again. Just over this overhang to the right. If you're standing back there in the parking lot, you've got about a whole armful of foul balls right now to call yours. In a popular spot today, the 0-2 again, fastball way up high. He reached back for that one, didn't he? It was 90 and a half. He's been sitting around 88, 89 so far. One ball, two strikes, kicks and delivers. Swung on and missed. It bounced to So Trace, but with a runner occupying first base, Hruch just took off for second and swiped a bag. So that's a stolen bag for Hrustich. But back-to-back swinging Ks for O'Halloran puts 2 outs on the board. Evan Minarvik, the .229 batting average to clip this year. First pitch to him is fouled off, right back behind home plate. Tying run at second base for Northwestern. A 1-0 ball game, Michigan on top. 0-2, a fastball finds its way to split the zone. Minarvik has struggled in the category of strikeouts to walks this year. 31 strikeouts, 7 walks. Checks his swing on a fastball outside. They won't even check down to Robert Lothian at first base. Said he did not go. Somewhat open stance from Narvik. Waves his bat just a touch. The 1-2 is swung on and chopped towards the left side. Tough play for the third baseman. Voigt makes a beautiful range of motion play and throws over to first base with the armband on his right side. And that'll end the frame. Hrustich is stranded on second base. Michigan holds on to a 1-0 lead on your home for Michigan baseball. A 1-0 Michigan lead here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. A bit overcast. There was rain expected in the forecast later today, hence the movement from 6 p.m. till 1 p.m. for the start time this afternoon. But nonetheless, a humid but still pleasant day for baseball here in downtown Ann Arbor. Tito Flores steps in, and Michael Farinelli ready to retake the mound for his second inning of work. 2 zeros on the board for Northwestern as we have played 1.5 from the University of Michigan's campus here in Ann Arbor. 238 for Tito Flores batting from the right side. Takes a hack at the first pitch, and that will float out of play down the right field line. Stephen Hrustich made his way to second base after a stolen bag. And an odd-looking single where he hit the ball all the way to the wall in right field. Bounced up off the wall, and Joey Velasquez kept him to a single because pretty sure Hrustich thought he had a home run. Back up the middle. That hits Farinelli. Tough play to make as Flores races down the first base line. He is safe. A big stretch by the first baseman, Markinson, wasn't enough to grab it from Farinelli. He waves off the athletic trainer on the right side, and he will retake the mound. That was a shot off the bat of Tito Flores.
Yeah, 88 miles per hour off the ankle.
It's nothing light. So here's the freshman third baseman, Mitch Voigt, who made the tremendous play to get Michigan out of the top of the second. First pitch to him. It's a slider away. But it might look routine some of the time, but the way he charged the ball to get a speedy runner at first base, he had to field it on a short hop and throw it off balance, and it was a beautiful throw to Jack Vanner Mortal to end the frame. Back-to-back sliders, back-to-back misses for the right-hander Farinelli. Two multi-hit games in the last 4 for Mitch Voigt. That's raised his average to 248. 6 bombs on the year, 26 runs driven in. Flores takes off, foul ball, back into the Michigan dugout, which ricochets back towards the third baseman, Minarvik.
Late reaction from the second baseman getting over there.
Another thing we mentioned in the pregame is Michigan attempting to be aggressive early in this ball game against Michael Farinelli. And Cooper Ford behind the plate. Flores back in sliding safely. Good pickoff move from the Northwestern right-hander. Flores takes off again. Farinelli throws home. Mitch Voigt scoots one back towards him, and it will be thrown out at first base. So Michigan might take that trade. Or Mitch Voigt does a job on a hit and run to move Flores into scoring position. I mean, he reached way out there on a slider and just poked it back towards the pitcher. And he's had to be active here in the second inning. So here's Gabe Sotrace, the Michigan catcher, with Greg Pace Jr. on deck. Runner on second base with one away. There's a fastball outside into the left-handed batter's box. .216 clip this season for Gabe Sotrace. Looking for RBI number 7, swing and a miss. It's a breaking ball, just a bit low. That slider fastball dip off isn't much for Michael Farinelli. Pretty consistent, 88, 89 on the fastball, then comes back with a slider ranging from 82, 84, it looks like. 1-1. Big wave and a miss. And there's that 82. But what's been most impressive about Farinelli here in the first 2 innings is his location of the breaking ball. He's been throwing it low and outside, but then he's kind of shifted back towards being right across the plate, which is very deceptive. We saw that time is called on the third base line by Brent Rice. The count is 2-2 with Gabe Sotrace. Not often do you see the third base umpire call time, but that was a pitch clock violation, was what we just had. Haven't seen many of those here this year. So now a free ball for Gabe Sotrace to climb back in the count. He tosses one towards third. Play for Minarvik. He throws it under the glove of the first baseman, Markinson. Sotrace racing towards second. He'll be thrown out. Nope, the ball bounces loose. Oh, no, he still got it. That's a wrapper.
Yeah, saw something squirt out there. Ends up
No,
being
that's
the thumb.
the thumb
Yeah,
piece for the bat. It bounced free and it looked like the baseball.
it did. It had me tricked for a second.
Well, that's an error. That will move Tito Flores to third. This bottom of the second inning has been something else.
Yeah, to say the least.
A line drive right off the foot of the starting pitcher Farinelli to begin the inning. Well, here's Greg Pace Jr. He'll try and square down a bunt with two away, and he fouls it back to the screen. Pace batting in place of Jonathan Kim this afternoon.
Might see him try to lay down another here.
Minarvik has been playing in on the grass for the entirety of this ball game so far. The 0-1. There's that slider away. It's right in that range of 82 to 84. A ball and a strike with Greg Pace. Takes fastball just low. I think Grady Smith thought about calling that one a strike. He flinched there for a moment. 138 for Greg Pace. 2-1. Takes fastball inside, just below the letters. 3 balls and a strike. ERA for Farinelli up at 8.44. This next pitch will be number 25 of the afternoon here in the second inning. 3-1. Big swing from Greg Pace. The freshman outfielder from Southfield. Power's not really a question with him. 2 home runs here in his first season. Payoff. That's bounced foul. Back towards the Michigan dugout here on the third base side. If Pace is able to reach here, leadoff man Cody Jeffress awaits his second opportunity with Michael Farinelli. Tito Flores 90 feet away from a 2-0 Michigan lead here in the bottom of the second. That's inside. Got a piece of Greg Pace, and he will make his way down to first base. So a hit by pitch will put runners on the corners with 2 away. Second time through for Cody Jeffress now. Michigan at the plate, leading by 1. An RBI single in the first frame for Jimmy Obertop put the Wolverines on top of Northwestern, currently at the bottom of the Big Ten. Greg Pace back in, sliding safely. It's a good move from Michael Farinelli, especially with how close he's working to that first base side. I mean, his toe is touching the rubber, and that's pretty much it. Left-handed bat Jeffress. Another check on Pace Jr. Northwestern's middle infielders playing deep right now. Fastball's way outside. 1-0 Cody Jeffress for Michigan, today playing in his 213th career collegiate baseball game. Here's the 1-0 from Farinelli. Pace takes off. The throw, there's no throw. Pump fake from Ford and a stolen bag for Greg Pace Jr. He is now 7 of 7 on the year, swiping the pillows for Michigan. 2 on, 2 out for Cody Jeffress in a staring match right now with Farinelli. Here's his 1-1. Line back up the middle past the glove of Farinelli. Greg Pace Jr. will score with no throw. It's a 2 RBI single for Cody Jeffress, number 28 and 29 for the graduate transfer from San Diego. What we say the key to the game was? Jumping on top of Michael Farinelli early in this ball game. And it's primarily been one guy, and he stands at first base. Here's Ted Burton. Oh, Jeffress cutting it close over at first base. And Michigan, they're positive they can steal on Farinelli. They have a big lead over at first base. Another big lead here for Jeffress. He takes off. Here's the throw from Ford down to second. And Jeffress is safe. He dove into the far side of the bag with his left hand. Gloves on both of his hands. And the tag from Livermore was just off. It's 3 right now for Michigan.
Really taking advantage of this catcher. Doesn't seem to be making the best throws.
Ted Burton with an RBI opportunity. The 0-1 checked his swing. Fastball into the corner on the far side of the plate for a strike. Jeffress now with 13 stolen bases. He is 13 for 13 combined with Craig Pace. You've now got 20 for 20. The 0-2 to Ted. That's lifted deep into the air center field. That sends Arnon back to the track, to the wall. It's off the wall. Jeffress scores no problem. Ted Burton digging for 2. He's in there standing up. His 35th RBI of the season was a rocket to center field. 4-0 Maize and Blue. Michigan making it look easy right now in the second inning. Tito Flores, a hot shot off the ankle to begin the inning. A weak bounce out from Mitch Voigt. A throwing error by the third baseman Minarvik. Ted Burton's almost halfway to third in his lead. Farinelli will do a spin move back to second. That's his first disengagement. As Joey Velasquez waits the first pitch. We all know the damage that Joey V can do with a baseball. First pitch to him. Wave and a miss. Outside breaking ball from Michael Farinelli. Oh, 1. That's lined in the left field. Coming on the left fielder, Tanner. Did he make that catch? Yes, he did. That's an
Wow.
incredible catch in left field by Tanner to swipe a base hit and an RBI away from Joey Velasquez. That was impressive stuff by Luke Tanner out in left field. Michigan piles on 3 here in the second. 4-0 lead for Michigan when we come back on WCBN Sports. Four nothing lead for Michigan. Here from downtown Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium. Let's turn into a beautiful day for baseball. Owen McOlpatrick leads off for Northwestern. And Connor O'Halloran digs into his glove and fires a pitch, a fastball that's fouled off behind home plate and returns into the park for strike 1. Lowest batting average of the starting 9 for Northwestern. McGolfitrick as he fouls one off, same exact spot, this time out of the park. A quick 0-2. O'Halloran has punched out 3 through 2 innings so far. Pitch count just at 22 pitches. The windup in the pitch, fastball up and in, spinning McGolfitrick out of the way. Last week was a bit uncharacteristic for Connor O'Halloran. 3 runs in the first inning, but his offense was shut out. Check swing over to the first base side. Yes, he did. That's a strikeout for O'Halloran. And there is one away here in the top of the 3rd inning. One thing's true about Connor O'Halloran. He induces a lot of swinging and miss strikes, not a lot of looking. Tony Livermore from the left side, lefty on lefty here. Typically bats up in the 1 spot for Northwestern, takes a swing and rolls one towards the right side. Easy play for Ted Burton as he waits on it, flips it to Van Mortal, and 2 away. Here in the top of the 3rd inning. Lineup flips over for the first time. Luke Tanner struck out in the 1st inning. Just 1 hit so far against O'Halloran for the Wildcats. First pitch fastball. On a ball's width above the zone. 4-0 Michigan here in the top of the 3rd inning. There's a big swing from Tanner and fouls one off. Did a lot of that in his first at-bat. 2 swinging and missing strikes, but 2 foul balls back in the 1st inning against O'Halloran. Here's the 1-1. There's a fastball that rides just up and outside. Connor reached back for 90.5 is what the scoreboard read last inning to try and get a strikeout. Didn't get it. There's a backdoor slider that just slithers its way into the zone. And perfect glove placement by Gabe Sotrace. That levels the count at 2 apiece. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Here in the top of the 3rd, O'Halloran looking for another quick frame. That's lined in the left field. Here comes Flores, no problem. Right into the glove on his left-handed side. And the Wolverines holding on to a 4-0 lead as we meet the middle of the 3rd inning here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. It's 4-0 Michigan on your home for Wolverines baseball. The bottom of the 3rd inning is upon us here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. The sun is trying to peek out here just south of the campus. Jimmy Obertop leads off for Michigan. The Wolverines holding on to a 4-0 lead in a must-have series here against Northwestern. First pitch to Obertop. Just misses off the plate from Michael Farinelli. His next pitch will be number 40. ERA just below 9. Now for Farinelli. Ground ball left side. Minarvik. Strong throw over to first base. And Obertop is retired to lead off the inning. Last time Minarvik had a throw from over there, he left it just short. And that's why Northwestern has one error today. Here's Jack Vandermortel stepping in for Michigan. Michael Farinelli making his 12th start of this season. Here in 2022, coming into this game, a 1-8 record, 8.55 ERA. As Vandermortel takes fastball for a strike on the outside part of the plate. 46 and a thirds innings pitched, 59 hits, 44 earned runs, and a 3-1 K to walk ratio. Inside, that got a piece of Vandermortel. A fastball that just skimmed the jersey. He was almost hit in his last at-bat, but he backed out of the way. Now the second hit by pitch today for Michigan. Greg Pace was hit in the second inning and later came around to score. But Farinelli, in compare to his last season, 2021, this is his second season now in Evanston. Last year he was 6-5, ERA of 4.43. Almost double the innings pitched, just south of 90. Tito Flores takes ball one. 59 hits this season compared to 96 a year ago. 43 earned runs a year ago. 44 earned runs here in 2023. Runner takes off, line drive back up the middle. Tough play for Arnone, bounces in front of him. And Vandermortel is able to just settle on second base. Even Jack Vandermortel is trying to swipe a bag off Farinelli and Ford. The minivan, as they call him, down the third base line, was 0 for 1, stealing bases coming into this game, and he took off there. Looked like a rocket heading into second base. Tito Flores now 2 for 2 with 2 singles back up the middle. Here's Mitch Voigt. Vandermortel dives in safely back to second base. Voigt squibbed one back to Farinelli just an inning ago. No outs, one out here in the third inning. Runners on first and second. Fastball low and outside. Bounces into Ford. It bounced behind him, and it kind of just stayed there right in front of the home plate umpire, Grady Smith. Ford was able to find it, relocate it. Michigan's runners not quite able to see it in order to advance. Here's the 2-0 to Voigt. Checks his swing down the first base line and rolls foul. Right past Michigan left-handed pitcher Walker Cleveland, who coaches first base today. But those numbers for Farinelli compared to last season, just a bit odd. 6-5 down to 1-8, and it's understandable that the team has a much worse record this year as Voigt skies one deep into right field. Back goes Harustich. Back. It's off the wall. Harustich fell down. Minivan heading home. He'll try and score. Tito Flores in the third, sliding safely at the home plate is Vandermortel, and it's 5-0 Michigan. There is not much wind today, and Harustich just could not get there. He was trotting back, and he fell right where the lip, well, the imaginary lip, as it's all turf here, between where the grass area would be and what the dirt area would be, and he just simply fell down. Almost positive Tito Flores would have scored there. All three of them are running within probably about 5 meters of each other. On the ground, tough play made for the shortstop, McOlfatrick. Throw over to first is in time. Run scores, Flores across the plate. Sotrace tack on an RBI. There's number 7. And over to third base is Mitch Voigt. This game has been anything but common so far today. Strong lead for Michigan early in this one in the first third of this game as Greg Pace Jr. squares to bunt and pulls back last second for a fastball strike up in the zone. Vandermortel, Flores have scored. Mitch Voigt is over on third base. Check swing from Pace. It was close, but no call. 1-1. 1-1 is popped up. The bunt is caught by the catcher Ford, and that will end the frame. Two more across for Michigan. It's a 6-0 lead for the Wolverines of Ann Arbor when we come back on WCBN Sports. A strong offensive start for Michigan puts them ahead 6-0 here as we begin the fourth inning from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor. Sharp ground ball foul as it hugs the third baseline. Bennett Markinson. Connor O'Halloran. Great start today for the Wolverines. Just one hit allowed. Here's a line drive. There's the second. Splits the gap on the right side, and Bennett Markinson finds his way to first base with a leadoff single for Northwestern. The Wildcats trail 6-0 here in the top of the fourth. Good piece of hitting. Got a fastball on the far side of the plate and just shot it through the gap of Burton and Vandermortel on the first base side. Briefly mentioned Connor O'Halloran's last start, which was last Friday. Beautiful breaking ball right through the front door to Arnone, who flew out to left to begin his day. 3 runs in the first inning against the Golden Gophers in Minneapolis a week ago today. It was the 0-1. Fastball right down Broadway. It's 0-2. But the offense was shut out in the 4-0 loss against Minnesota. Michigan salvaged the series with a win on Sunday. But Tracy Smith, the Michigan manager, he caught himself when using the word struggle to describe the afternoon for Connor O'Halloran. There's a really quick good morning, good afternoon, good night from Connor O'Halloran to Griffin Arnone. 5th punch out for O'Halloran today as Stephen Harustich bats from the right side. As Connor leads the team in wins with 7, leads the team in ERA, WHIP, innings pitched, and strikeouts. Entered today with 89 total. First pitch driven in the air, deep in the left field. Flores is going to watch this one fly. Harustich, frustrated with no home run in his first plate appearance, A line drive that bounced off the top of the wall and back into play. Goes yard here in the top of the fourth inning, and Northwestern is on the board for the first time. It's 6-2. Home run number 6 for Stephen Harustich. Cuts into the Michigan lead, and a reset needed for Connor O'Halloran. That one was a no-doubter off the bat, wasn't it?
Yeah, to say the least.
First pitch fastball to Alex Calarco, the DH for Northwestern. Up and out. Second pitch to him, same exact spot, fastball. But to prove the value for Connor O'Halloran, if you take away, coming into this game, if you take away his 85 innings pitched and 29 earned runs, there's a foul ball down the left field line, 2-1. If you take away those numbers, Michigan's pitching staff would have an abysmal 12.43 ERA, which would rank dead last in the Big Ten. The 2-1 bounces in to Gabe Sotrace. But this season for Connor O'Halloran has moved himself into strong consideration for the Major League draft. Left-hander from Mississauga, Ontario. Alex Calarco will have to find his way back into that right-handed batter's box as a fastball was called for a strike. Certainly could have been ball 4. Calarco has walked 15 times this year, and he shoots one on the ground towards second. In between the wickets for Ted Burton. Throws out Calarco 2 away in the top of the fourth inning. That was impressive there for O'Halloran. Allowed the big home run to Harustich. Falls behind early in the count, 2-0. Was then behind 3-1. Then a generous call from Grady Smith. And a ground out for Calarco. Here's Cooper Ford, who has had a tough day behind the plate. Michigan running pretty much everywhere against the combination of Farinelli and Ford. The 0-1. That's lifted down the left field line. Tough play for Flores. He makes his way over and he makes a catch. He was gliding into the corner. Tito Flores made it look easy with the way he was just streaming towards the left field corner. Northwestern scoops up 2 on the 2-run blast for Stephen Harustich, but Connor O'Halloran settles back in at 6-2 on your home for Michigan baseball. Pitching change for Northwestern prior to the bottom of the fourth inning beginning. The new pitcher is big right-hander, transfer from North Park University. Ethan Sund, 6'4", 232, graduate student from Huntley, Illinois. Michigan has had a fantastic day at the plate, and it's been led by This guy right here, graduate transfer himself, Cody Jeffress. Well, he's got the two legs down so far, but those seem to be the easier legs of the cycle as he pops one up shallow left, coming on is Tanner. Carries a bit towards deeper left field, and he makes the throw back in for a quick first out. A double and a single so far for Cody Jeffress, and add a fly out to left field to go along with it. So a tough day on the bump for Michael Farinelli. The numbers for Ethan Sund aren't great either. As Ted Burton steps in and takes a slider for a strike. On the year, 1-1 record, 15 and 2/3 innings pitched. 16 walks to 14 strikeouts is the issue. The 0-1. There's a slider way outside. Whip at 2.6. ERA just a shade over 12. Teddy Two Bags brought his name into fruition back in the second inning with a double as he fouls one up into the air and way out of play. Ball and a strike. But Michael Farinelli's start has essentially just been a microcosm for the season for Northwestern starting rotation. 2 balls and a strike, excuse me. Scoreboard playing tricks on us. Line drive high, deep into the air. Left center field. Back goes Arno, and that ball is gone. Ted Burton, a blast to left center field. That's double-digit homers for Teddy Two Bags. He extends it 2 more here. Ted Burton says to Steven Harustich, anything you can do, I can do maybe just a little bit better. 2 completely different stories on home runs. A towering fly ball homer for Harustich, and an absolute line drive off the bat of Ted Burton makes it 7-2 Michigan. With Joey Velasquez, the Wolverine right fielder, into the box. He bounces one to a waiting Livermore. Easy throw to first, 2 away. Jimmy Obertop into the box for Michigan. He gave Michigan the lead in the first inning with an RBI flare to right. First pitch here is a fastball just above the zone from Ethan Sund. Takes a slider here for a strike, 1-1. Spent 5 seasons at North Park University prior to this graduate year in Evanston. 1-1. Big swing and a miss. There's the slider again. The outside part of the zone. Sund began at North Park back in 2018. Merely used as a starter later in his career there, a fastball at 90. Almost got past the catcher Ford. And almost went halfway up the backstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes here with Jimmy Obertop. Trying to mix that slider in with the fastball. But the fastball is just not there. So Michigan looking for that well-located slider. That one missed outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Full count payoff here to Jimmy Obertop. There's a fastball that's fouled down the third baseline. But in 2022, Sund led North Park with an ERA of 3.46 and a 1.23 whip. He struck out 104 over 78 innings. Tale of 2 different seasons. Another fastball is fouled back to the screen here for the Wolverine DH, Jimmy Obertop. 3-2 again. Fastball misses way outside. Jimmy Overtop helicopters his bat back to the dugout, and Jack Vandermortel will take the plate. And we kind of touched on that starting rotation for Northwestern and Farinelli. Their combined record for the three starters this weekend, 1-19. Farinelli had his longest outing of the year last Friday. He lasted 7 2/3, which was the most by a Northwestern starter all year. A slider's in there for a strike to Vandermortel. He allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, walked 1, punched out 5. Into the stretch for Ethan Sund, leaping back to first base as Overtop. In the 122 combined innings coming into today for the 3 scheduled Wildcat starters this weekend, 118 earned runs. That's an 8.7 ERA for 3 pitchers. Northwestern uses line drive, ropes down the left field line, but it wraps foul. That would have been extra bags for Vandermortel, who was almost hit in his first at-bat. Yet he ended up swinging for a strikeout, was then hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, and came around to score on the Mitch Voigt double. Just has not been a good season for Northwestern. 8-35, they've been outscored 229 to 386. Fouled off right side. Vandermortel dancing with an 0-2 count. Pretty dramatic drop-off from a year ago when the team went 24-27 and had a 10-14 mark in conference play. Again, the 0-2. That's lined through the right side for a base hit. Overtop, running towards third. A good throw from the right fielder. Hrustic is cut off by the shortstop, McGolpatrick. Runners on the corners with 2 away for Tito Flores. The approaches today for Michigan have just looked really good. And a mound visit coming here for Northwestern. Not much going on down in the bullpen for the Wildcats. This is the first year for Jim Foster. Dennis Cook is out there to check on Ethan Sund. But I'm sure Northwestern wanted to correct the bad start they had a year ago when they started 0-5. That just did not happen. They began 2023 0-12. Hence the record down at 8-35. That scoots away a fastball from Ford. Jimmy Overtop across the plate. Vandermortel into second. And it's an 8-2 lead for the Maize and Blue. Well, that's something. That's something that'll nag at a coach immediately after a mound visit. It's a wild pitch to score a run. Tito Flores 2 for 2 with 2 line drives back to the pitcher today. Waits on the 1-0. Sky is 1 foul. Down the first base side. And back to Northwestern. They were outscored 54-18 in their opening series at Texas State in San Marcos. If you want to get a good start to a season, fortunately for Northwestern, that's just not it. Breaking ball swung on and missed inside. Final scores in that first series down in Texas, 12-4, 20-5, 24-9. Took until the 3rd week of March to win their first game in Indianapolis against Butler. But on the bright side for Northwestern, they played really competitive baseball a week ago against Indiana. That's just tipped foul. Maybe got a piece of our home plate umpire, Grady Smith. Although they were swept in the series in Evanston, lost game 1-0. Offense just never got moving. 3 runs in the top of the 12th inning for the Hoosiers. In the Saturday afternoon game, they lost 5-2, and then a back and forth offensive battle 11-9 on Sunday. Fastball misses up and outside to Tito Flores. Great at bat here for the recent graduate of the Michigan School of Kinesiology, classmate of mine in sport management. 2-2. That's bounced towards the third base side. Really tough play here for Minarvik. A throw across his body, not in time. Tito Flores, he's got some wheels, and he puts runners once again on the corners with 2 away for Mitch Voigt. So Tito Flores has now seen the plate in the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning, and the 4th inning. Pretty similar result. Single, single, single. 8-2 Michigan, bottom 4 here in Ann Arbor. Michigan looking to correct some woes of their own, as is Northwestern. They've lost 12 consecutive Big Ten games. Big swing and a miss for Mitch Voigt. 6 home runs, 27 RBIs for Voigt, batting .252. He bats here with runners on the corners and 2 away. Sund throws, fastball for a strike. Mitch Voigt finds himself in an 0-2 hole. The 2-run bomb for Stephen Harustich has been made up for by Michigan's glowing offense today. There's a fastball, the letters for ball 1. Surprisingly, Northwestern's only played 12 home games. The lowest in the Big Ten. Voigt puts one high into the air, deep left center field. Tanner and Arnone both back about 5 strides in front of the track. Tito Flores was running, and they make the catch. Arnone out in center field. Michigan counters with 2 of their own here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Score is now 8-2. Wolverines on your home for Michigan baseball. Michigan's offense off to a wonderful start in the series opener here against Northwestern, in a series that is must-have for the Maize and Blue. An 8-2 lead. Their approaches have been very impressive at the plate against 2 different Northwestern pitchers so far. And speaking of impressive, we glare out to the mound, and Connor O'Halloran is out there for his 5th inning of work. First pitch fastball misses high. To a man that's been busy at the hot corner today for Northwestern offensively, Evan Minarvik. Second pitch fastball swung on and tipped into the glove. Following this series for both teams, they have a midweek game this coming week before their last Big Ten showdown. Foul ball back to the screen on a fastball from O'Halloran. It's 1-2. Michigan will play their home closer, the finale, here at Ray Fisher Stadium on Tuesday against Xavier. 1-2 bounces in to Sotrace. It's 2-2. And Northwestern on Tuesday will play at Wrigley Field in Chicago against Notre Dame. Two balls, two strikes with Menarvik. The pitch home into the corner for ball three. Perfect pitch from Connor O'Halloran. Doesn't get the signal from Grady Smith, and we'll call it a good eye for Menarvik. 8-2 is the Wolverine lead. 0 for 1 today. The pitch fouled. Strong down the right field line and way out of play into the ever so popular parking lot down the right field line. If you're coming to a game at Ray Fisher Stadium, better make sure you have renewed your insurance. Here's the 3-2. Into the corner this time, a breaking ball back towards him for a looking strike three. The first one of the day for Connor O'Halloran, number 6 overall. I'll tell you what, Nick, to those right-handed batters, Connor O'Halloran has just been flipping and sliding that breaking ball into the outside corner. McGolfatrick, sharp line drive, foul down the third base line.
Yeah, the command has been impressive today. It's locating the high fastballs pretty well.
We're in the top of the 5th inning, and Connor's only thrown 52 pitches. Is 0-1. High into the air down the right field line, and that will slice foul. Take a big bounce, and then ricochet off a car. McGolfatrick started the year 0 for 13 with 8 strikeouts. Checks his swing here. Did he go? Yes, he did. Back-to-back Ks to begin the inning for O'Halloran. That's number 7. Strikeouts have been an issue all year for Owen McGolfatrick. And now Tony Livermore. First pitch to him. Taking strike 1. An impressive career on base percentage for Livermore of .369. His average dipped in the early stages of April, but have ticked back up. A fastball is a beauty into the outside corner. Lefty on lefty here. Livermore had a stretch of 4 consecutive multi-hit games, which began in the series finale against Nebraska back on April 16th. Checked his swing, did not go. A ball and 2 strikes. Michigan a run in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, following 2 for Northwestern, also in the 4th inning. Another slider bounces into our catcher, Gabe Sotrace. Count has lifted to 2-2. Livermore a couple of inches away from the chalk on the left side of the batter's box. Shoots one down the right field line. That's going to be a fair ball. Velasquez over to field it in between his legs. He's going to try and leg this one out for second. Livermore hesitates. Oh, Ted Burton thought that he returned to first base. He pump faked over to Van Remortel. Jeffress was waiting for it. And Livermore is in safely to second. Heads up base running for Tony Livermore.
He was thinking double all the way.
And although Joey Velasquez fielded that a bit oddly, he still got it in to Ted Burton with plenty of time to spare as they almost got him caught in a pickle. Here's Luke Tanner. Wild swing at pitch number 1. O'Halloran has somewhat struggled with that slider here in the 5th. Tanner 0 for 2. The 0-1 from O'Halloran. That's squibbed back to the Michigan dugout. Tanner finds himself behind 0-2. Michigan a home record of 12-9. Northwestern on the road 4-25. The 0-2. High into the air, deep left center field. Flores and Pace Jr. back, track, wall. That ball's gone. A 2-run blast for Luke Tanner, his 2nd of the year. Cuts the Wolverine lead in half. It is 8-4 here in Ann Arbor. And Northwestern's offense starting to wake up a bit. One out to get here in the top of the 5th for O'Halloran. Back-to-back innings with 2-run homers for Northwestern. This pitch is high into the air, right center field. Pace Jr. to the track, backpedals, and makes the grab. So one pitch after the 2-run home run allowed by O'Halloran. He gets Bennett Markinson to fly out. The score is 8-4. Things getting a bit hot here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Ethan Sund back out to work for Northwestern as the Wildcat offense has ignited all of a sudden from Ann Arbor. The score is 8-4. Gabe Sotrace leads off for Michigan. First pitch fastball bounces way outside past the catcher. For Northwestern this afternoon, Cooper Ford. Exclusively from the stretch, his son. Hard on the ground, chopping towards McOlfatrick. Strong throw to first, and Sotrace retired for out number 1. So outside of Gabe Sotrace, it's almost been a nap at shortstop for McOlfatrick. He is the only player that's hit anything towards shortstop today for Michigan. Greg Pace Jr. hit by a pitch in the 2nd, came around to score after swiping a bag, and then tried to bunt and popped out to the catcher as he takes fastball for strike 1. Corners play in On pace. Middle infielder's back. Fastball again bounces in front of Ford and skips to the backstop. Cody Jeffress and Ted Burton fight over who goes to get the ball. It's Ted Burton. Man in the hole. Pace takes strike two. A breaking ball from Ethan Sund. His 1-1 record on the season. ERA of 12.5. The 1-2. Just couldn't get over the breaking ball there. He left it up high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tell you what, when Sund is missing, he's missing badly. He's throwing strikes, he's throwing strikes. There's a strike right there, fouled up and out of play. Behind home plate. Slightly offset stance for Greg Pace. The 2-2. Fouled off again. Player Michigan is trying to get reps, especially filling in for Kim today. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball past the swinging Pace for Sund's first strikeout. So 2 up and 2 down. That'll bring up Cody Jeffress. 266 average to go along with 29 RBIs. First pitch, slider inside to the left-handed Jeffress. The wind has slightly picked up here in Ann Arbor. Fastball for a ball. Two hits today, has extended his hit streak to 7. Inside, it got the home plate umpire, Grady Smith. I thought Jeffress might have gotten hit, but no, he backed out of the way. That'll make the count 3-0. But more worried about our home plate umpire right now. Got the worst of that one. First base umpire Robert Lothian in the check on him. Cooper Ford, the catcher, is there to check on him. As it sits, it's 3-0 right now with Cody Jeffress. I think he got hit on that right hand. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks like he's shaking it off, but he must have caught it.
Well, after the slight pause, we have a 3-0 count. And Grady Smith looks like he's all right to continue in this ball game. 3-0 fastball right down the middle for strike one. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Perfectly into the outside corner. So maybe all Sund needed was a slight pause. Count is full with Jeffress, the payoff. Swung on and fouled out of play back towards the Yost Ice Arena. Has been dormant now for about a month and a half, 2 months. Three balls and 2 strikes. Let's do it again. There's a little flare towards the first base side. First baseman Markinson can't make the play. Cody Jeffress has got everything working for him today. He's now 3 for 4 And he tucked that in a perfect spot. That was a pool shot for Cody Jeffress down the first base line. Runner on for Ted Burton. 2 away. Michigan leads 8-4. Jeffress dives back into first. So it must have been a job well done by the scouting crew this week for Michigan, at least for this Friday game. Knowing they can run against the Northwestern pitchers and at least Cooper Ford behind the plate today for the Wildcats. Ted Burton takes a strike. Anywhere between 77 to 90 miles an hour for Ethan Sund in his work so far. There's a fastball at 88 miles an hour. Ted Burton watches ball 1. Top 2 batters in Michigan's order so far today. Been fantastic. 5 for 7. 3 hits on the day for Cody Jeffress. 2 so far for Ted Burton. He's got a double and a homer. Big swing and a miss. Strike 2, outside corner, breaking ball. Tanner plays straight up and left, a bit deep. Just offset to the left in center field is Griffin Arnone. Hrustic plays straight up and right. Infield pretty straight up as well. The 1-2, up and in to Ted Burton. Limbo's out of the way. It's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Runner on the go, and Burton fouls it off. Bottom of the 5th inning. Northwestern has scored 4 in their last 2 trips to the plate. Michigan has scored a run in every single inning so far, except for this bottom of the 5th. They lead 8-4. Suns 2-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball outside. Ted Burton goes fishing. Michigan does not score in an inning for the first time this afternoon. The score is 8-4. Northwestern looking to do some damage here from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. At what point seemed like Michigan might have a bit of a blowout on their hands here at Ann Arbor. Northwestern has scratched their way back. The score is 8-4. Still some work to do for the men wearing purple this afternoon. A game slated to start at 6 p.m. got moved up to 1 p.m. due to potential rain in the area. So far has held off. Connor O'Halloran back to work for Michigan. Slings a breaking ball into the zone for strike one. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Griffin Arnone leads off for Northwestern. Waiting on a ground ball at second base is Ted Burton and throws out Arnone by a full 2 strides to put one away. Last time Steven Hrustich came to the plate, boy, did he do some damage. Hit a fly ball that would have flown over a mountain in left field and almost landed in the tall bleacher seats at what is now Carroll Hutchins Stadium for Michigan softball. There's a fastball for a strike, 89 off the left arm of Connor O'Halloran. Hrustich 2 for 2. Fastball this time a bit high. Half a ball's width above the zone for Connor O'Halloran. 7 strikeouts, 5 hits allowed. Fastball, fastball, fastball. So far to Hrustich. A ball low and in. Average raised to 317 for Steven. A do-it-all player for Northwestern so far. Backdoor breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 2-2. Batting average has ticked up 10 spots today. Went from 307 to 317. 2-2. Laced back up the middle. Tough play for Pace. Reads it the whole way and makes the catch. If there has been one Wildcat that's made solid contact in every single at-bat, it's that guy, Steven Hrustich. Unless there's a one pitch out right here, O'Halloran will cross 75 on the day in this at-bat with Alex Calarco. Line drive back up the middle, Pace coming on, and we'll have it bounce to him on one hop, a chest-high hop, and he throws the ball back in. Calarco a single to extend the inning. The innings when Michigan is in the field for defense compared to Northwestern have just seemed so much longer. O'Halloran working quickly, getting ahead in counts. Not this time, a fastball low to Cooper Ford. The Northwestern's out there, and Michigan has just been moving base runners around the base paths the entire afternoon. The bouncing ball towards short. The easy one at second base is made by Jeffress and Burton. Well, that'll do it here in the top of the 6th inning. Michigan, an 8-4 lead here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Joey Velasquez set to lead off for Michigan. Series opener between the Wolverines and Wildcats of Northwestern. 8-4 maize and blue lead with a barrage of runs scored in the first through fourth inning, scoreless in the fifth. Back to the plate here in the sixth inning. First pitch to Velasquez from Ethan Sund is low. Michigan has a team at the plate today. 11 of 26. Batting average of 423. It's a breaking ball that misses to Joey. Looking for his first base knock of the day. The only Wolverine to not reach base so far. Puts one high into the air. Right field. Harustich settles under it. Makes a two-handed catch. Made that one look easy in comparison to the deep fly ball hit back in the third inning by Mitch Voigt, where he sprinted back to the track and tripped over his own feet. And Voigt was able to find his way to second base with the double. So here is Jimmy Obertop taking a ball just off the plate. One of the slowest pitches so far from Ethan Sund at 78 miles an hour. Right back to work. Sees Obertop swinging, pop one really high into the air back towards the Northwestern dugout. And into the crowd, where a member of the Northwestern fan base makes a nice catch and tosses it back to a youngster down the first base side. Tough ricochet play to make. Hand-eye coordination. I don't know. We haven't gotten one up here in a while. The 1-1 to Obertop. Scooted towards third base. Tough play for Minarvik. Throws out Obertop by a stride. 2 up and 2 down. And how about Ethan Sund?
Yeah, he came in and he's making good work of the lineup right now. I mean, he's only let up 2 runs, but excuse me. Yeah, two
Two
runs.
win runs
Two
today.
runs, yeah. But 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, but compared to the rest of his season, his ERA after those 2 earned runs was above 13. First pitch bounces to Ford. Jack Vander Mortal's in the box, 2 away. His ERA was almost 13. But since his stat line today is 2 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. He struck out 2 to just 1 walk. Pitch count is over 50. Another really high fly ball. Michigan has put these balls way up into the air, into the overcast sky, and making a tough catch as Arnone. 1-2-3 inning for Ethan Sund. Michigan scoreless for a second consecutive inning. Into our final third of this Friday opener between Michigan and Northwestern, we go to the 7th on your home for Michigan baseball. 8-4 Michigan here in Ann Arbor. Series opener between Wolverines and Wildcats. The visitors from Evanston, Illinois, have scratched their way back a bit. Connor O'Halloran to work here in the 7th with Evan Minarvik. Michigan shifting on the Wildcat third baseman. Voigt, Jeffress, and Burton all to the left side of second base. Fouled off Gabe Sotrace. That winged helmet that the Wolverine catcher and transfer from Michigan State wears. A ball and a strike. One of the recent developments in all of baseball, not just major leagues, college, even summer collegiate leagues starting to implement the pitch comm. Gabe Sotrace and Connor O'Halloran communicating with each other on what pitch they're going to throw. Fastball low and in to Minarvik. It's 2-1. But Sotrace relays it out to O'Halloran, who looks down at his glove hand, and right on his wrist is the pitch comm, which tells him what pitch that Sotrace wants him to throw. Then he sets up in that spot. Foul ball out of the glove of Sotrace. Count lifted to 2-2. But only two fielders are able to have it outside of the pitcher and the catcher. So they'll know as well. The 2-2, backdoor breaking ball over towards Vandermortel. Long run to first base. The race is won by the Michigan first baseman. One away for Owen McOlfatrick. 196 average for McOlfatrick coming into this afternoon's action. Ground out to third base and a backwards K. The only one of the day for Connor O'Halloran. First pitch, line drive, deep left center field. Back goes Flores. Base Jr. racing at it as well. That ball will be one hopped off the wall. Flores will relay it into Jeffress. Vandermortel coming back door. Not in time to get a speedy runner. McOlfatrick, he's in there with a stand-up double. A one-out base runner for Northwestern. He passes the baton to Tony Livermore, who doubled in his last at-bat. But I was listening to a Dodgers broadcast not too long ago with the great Joe Davis doing the play-by-play in Los Angeles. They were talking all about the pitch comp. First pitch to Livermore. He squares to bunt, slider outside, misses. O'Halloran's pitch count now at 82. And how they have it customizable for whichever voice you'd like to hear. And for LA, it was their pitching coach, but you've also got it for potential translators in case the pitcher is not an English speaker. Fastball just misses. A little bit low. O'Halloran asks Grady Smith, and he nods his head yes. Just a little bit low. 2-0. But they were mentioning about the Dodgers having it for Japanese speakers. Foul ball to the left field line on a bunt. Mitch Voigt waited on it and relays it back to O'Halloran. Going back to second base, McOlfatrick. For Japanese speakers, anyone south of the border speaking Spanish, especially in the major leagues. But so far in college baseball, no audio. So Halloran looks back down to his right wrist to get the call from Sotrace. 2 balls and a strike with Livermore. That's fouled up and back out of play towards Yost Ice Arena. But it got me to thinking, if I was out there, or if anyone was out there, and you could use a customizable voice, who would you use? Who would you use? Anyone off the top of your head?
No, I'm just trying to think. Nobody comes to really mind.
2-2 plunks the batter, Livermore.
Maybe my catchers.
Runner will be on first and second with one away here in the top of the 7th. 7th inning stretch looming. Michigan leads 8-4 here in the opener. Quick mound visit here for the Wolverines. Tracy Smith. A long walk out to talk with his southpaw. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask, especially major leaguers, who they'd pick. I'm sure a lot of them would say probably a calming voice.
I don't know. I feel like it would be kind of odd to hear another voice
What, other than your
popping
catcher
other than my catchers. Yeah.
or your coaches?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, naturally, this Sunday is Mother's Day, so it'd be kind of a cool concept
Had your mother?
if your mother
Yeah.
was the one relaying your pitches. Just a thought. Let you ponder over that one. Bookmark it for later. Very recent development across baseball. Strike into the zone. Luke Tanner, 2-run blast in his last at bat back in the fifth. We're in the top of the seventh. Michigan leads 8-4. 2 runners on base here for Northwestern. No action in Michigan's bullpen so far. Reaching out and fouling off a fastball is Tanner. Count is 0-2. Would be a big out to get right here for number 20 in white. Navy hats with the Block M logo right in the center. Hovering over the plate is Tanner. Waving the bat slowly, waits, breaking ball, back door, just high. Tanner did not start in the Friday opener last week against Indiana. The 1-2. Swung on and missed a strikeout of Luke Tanner. A big out to get for Connor O'Halloran. A breaking ball, low and in, right across the shoe tops. Punch out number 8 for the native of Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and another big one to get here with Bennett Markinson at the plate. Not a power hitter. Lines one back up the middle. Tough play for the shortstop, Jeffress. It gets by him. Coming around third to score is McOlfatrick. He will not draw a throw. The score is 8-5, and that brings the tying run to the plate here in the top of the seventh inning. So Livermore in the second, Markinson at first. Griffin Arnone takes the plate for Northwestern. You peer into that on-deck circle, and Steven Harustich stands there, but they're going to go with a pinch hitter here. It's Kevin Ferrer. Ferrer was at UConn for 5 seasons. Had an injury-riddled 2022 where he only played in the final 20 games. He was primarily used as the DH to keep his body fresh. He hit 264 in his final season in stores. His average has knocked back just a bit this season. First pitch to Ferrer is popped up right field side and gliding out of play. 8-5 is the Michigan lead. Northwestern, their offense ignited late. Did not score in innings 1 through 3. 2 runs in the fourth, 2 runs in the fifth, none in the sixth, 1 in the seventh. 2 outs, runners on, first and second base. 255 average for Ferrer. Second pitch just missed the corner. It's been called that way for both sides. O'Halloran 8 pitches away from triple digits. Foul ball. Back to the screen. Nice catch by the man on deck, Steven Hrustich. Plenty of power in his bat. Single home run. Line out for the right fielder on deck, but Griffin Arnone was 0 for 3. That's why they opt to go with Ferrer here. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A breaking ball bounces into him. Batting from the right side, waves the bat out once, twice, 3 times. O'Halloran to that pitch calm, delivers. Breaking ball towards second base. Burton, an easy flip to short. Jeffress swipes his toe across the bag. Northwestern leaves 2 on the base paths, but they continue to claw their way back into this ball game. It's stretch time from Ann Arbor. This is your home for Michigan baseball. Third pitcher of the day that we have seen from Northwestern, as Jim Foster has gone to the bullpen for the 6'3", 185-pound right-handed pitcher from Rogers, Arkansas, Kellen Pate. Well, for Michigan's sake, some insurance here for the Wolverines seems to be needed with how Northwestern has been swinging the bat. First pitch from Pate is in there for a strike. High and outside corner to Tito Flores. The delivery for Pate, to say the least, is different. The 0-1. Oh, a saucer of a breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 0-2. And Tito Flores, I don't think, expected a pitch like that. He'll take his time, readjust the batting gloves, and step into the box. He comes set. His left leg is all the way extended. Line drive back up the middle. Tito Flores does it again. He is 4 for 4 with 4 line drive singles, 3 of them right past the ear of the pitcher. So here's Mitch Voigt, 1 for 3 today. First pitch he sees, he ropes foul. Back towards the track at the Intramural Sports Building. down the right field side in Canham Auditorium. One for 4 at the plate this season, .250 batting average. .27 RBIs, 6 home runs, but back to this delivery from Kellen Pate. Relatively normal way of beginning the stretch. And the glove is tucked into his right hip, pitching from the right side. Left leg fully extended, right leg bent. There's that. We'll just call it a saucer right now. It's a slider. But it is in there at 71 miles an hour. By far the slowest pitch of the day. There's a ground ball towards the left side. Tough play from McOlfatrick. Overthrows the first baseman Markinson. Tito Flores stays still at second base because the ricochet came right back to the Northwestern first baseman. And with no outs, Michigan runners on first and second base. Mitch Voigt reaches first. Tito Flores into second. I think they're going to give him a base hit there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd give him the base hit. This fielded well.
It's in my scorebook as a base hit. So I'm going to give him a base hit. And if I were the official scorer, Mitch Voigt would be thanking me. Seems as if Jordan Rogers will pinch hit for Michigan. Gabe Sotrace got to the plate and then was called back for Jordan Rogers. So with Tito Flores on second and Mitch Voigt over at first, a really good bunter, Jordan Rogers already squares. The pitch, fastball just outside. Redshirt senior from Chicago, Illinois. 5'9", 175 Jordan Rogers. Squares to bunt again. Pate delivers. Oh, up and in. But it's a foul ball. Rogers had it bounce off of his bat. He tried to get out of the way. Just trying to get the runners over to give Michigan that insurance they want so badly. Just his 17th at-bat of the season. Squares down a bunt, first base side. A beautiful one. Markinson will tag out Jordan Rogers. A job well done off the bench for number 18. Runners on second and third with a chance to score a couple more. Michigan will pinch hit again. Greg Pace Jr. will sit, and Casey Buckley will bat. So the left-handed hitting Buckley, the graduate student from Long Beach, California, has spent 5 seasons in a Michigan uniform, has runners in scoring position here. Michigan leading 8-5, bottom of the 7th inning. Kellen Pate delivers. Cue shot back towards Michigan's dugout. On deck is Cody Jeffress. He's had a pretty good story himself today. 3 for 4. Double, single, single with a flyout sandwiched in between. The 0-1. That breaking ball again. That one a bit more straight than the other two that we've seen. The first one, the Tito Flores, was something else. A ball and a strike with Buckley. Shoots one, left field side. Long run for Ferrer, who just entered the game. It's a one-hopper off the wall. Flores is in. Voigt's in. Casey Buckley into second base standing up. A 1 out, 2 RBI double for Casey Buckley, his first RBI since April 30th. Great call there for Michigan and Tracy Smith to put the right bat at the plate at the right time. Michigan's leads extended to 10-5 with Cody Jeffress at the plate. Pitch way inside. Right-handed Pate against Jeffress. Second pitch fastball just grazes the outside part of the zone. A ball and a strike. Big time spot for Casey Buckley. Off the bench, maybe 1 or 2 warm-up swings. He batted for Greg Pace. Line drive right field side. That'll slide foul. It'll one hop into the Northwestern bullpen. And imagine the pressure of coming off the bench in a situation like that. In a game where a team is scratching as much as they can to come back in the game. Jeffress loops one in the left center field. That's going to get down. He's got his 4th hit of the day. Ball is botched in center field by Hrustic. Jeffress racing towards second. He is safe. Casey Buckley scores. Cody Jeffress does it again. That kid is on a tear today. The lead is 11-5 for Michigan. Hrustic had trouble with it in center field, fumbled it around. Cody Jeffress with heads-up base running with help from pitcher Walker Cleveland coaching first base. Was able to scamper into second base. Ted Burton now takes ball 1, slider outside. Second pitch fastball, low and away from Ted Burton. His day. Today is a ground ball. The third base for an out, a double, a home run, and a strikeout. Sharp ground ball towards third, a fair ball. Fielded by Menarvik for out number 2. He threw that ball hard across the diamond. One of the longest throws a third baseman will have to make. It was right there tucked along the third baseline on a backhand. And then to make an accurate throw by leveraging your weight towards your front foot. Now the turn for Joey Velasquez with 2 away. First pitch. Breaking ball. Had to have been just low. Right across the plate. Not tall enough, though, for Grady Smith. Left-handed bat Joey Velasquez in there. The 1-0. That one's low. 2-0 now. Joey didn't play in that Minnesota series until game 3. The Sunday finale, the only one Michigan had won. That's driven into center field right at Hrustic. He didn't have to move for that one. Michigan puts 3 across the board here. A big pinch hit, 2 RBI double for Casey Buckley. Puts Michigan in front 11-5 here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Another inning of work for Connor O'Halloran. Pitch count at 97. First pitch fastball. Low and in to Steven Harustich. Ahmad Harajli beginning to get loose for Michigan down in the pen. Their lead is now 6, 11-5. There's a breaking ball from O'Halloran. Just below 80 miles an hour for a strike. Backdoors Harustich. He's had a good day at the plate. Single, home run, and line out. There's a foul ball behind home plate, right side again. I'll tell you what, that has just been an extremely popular spot for foul balls today. 1-2 on the ground towards short. Just high bounce for Jeffress. Just gets Harustich by half a stride. That'll bring up Alex Kolarko. 229 batting average. 3 home runs, 26 RBIs. Doing the DHing today for Northwestern. He takes strike one. Connor's ERA almost dipped below 3. Earlier in this ball game, there's another foul. Northwestern has been fouling off balls left and right. But the strong contact has really only come from Harustich and Luke Tanner. The doubles from Matt Golfatrick and Livermore. But they haven't been able to square up O'Halloran consistently, at least at the beginning stages of this ball game. Bounces in a ball. It's 1-2. O'Halloran into his windup. The pitch. Bounce towards third. It's foul. Will ricochet into shallow left field, where Jacob Denner will retrieve it. What a start for him on Sunday in Minneapolis. Complete game. Michigan wins the finale. 2-2. Swung on and fouled off again. Similar spot. Right now, Connor O'Halloran looks locked in on this 8th inning. And Ahmad Harajli for the 9th. Wolverines only had to use 5 arms in Minneapolis. Popped foul, right field side. Long at bat here with Alex Kolarko. Think he goes back to the slider here.
I think high fastball.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Line foul just down that third base line.
Low fastball.
Well, you had half of it, right? Pitch count now at 101. The junior left-hander, the pitch. Fastball high. There's your high fastball. Not where you want to locate it, though. It was up at the brim of the cap. Tosses the rosin bag a few times. Three balls, 2 strikes. The pitch. Got him. Strike 3 looking. Breaking ball. Casey Buckley throws the ball errantly into right field. But a strikeout looking for Connor O'Halloran. That's just his second backwards punchy of the day. And here comes Tracy Smith. It looks like it might be go time for Ahmad Harajli. With the pitch count at 110. That's going to do it for Connor O'Halloran. He'll get a standing O from quite a few here at Ray Fisher. His team will pile out of the dugout. He will wait for Ahmad to take the field. The gate is open, and here comes big number 34. Connor O'Halloran will depart. Ahmad Harajli will enter. Strong stuff this afternoon from Connor O'Halloran. Faced some adversity with the 2 home runs, but his offense gets it done for him today. We will meet Harajli when we come back on your home for Michigan baseball. Tracy Smith goes to the bullpen for the first time today, and well, it's for the big man, 6'4", 240, Ahmad Harajli, nearby Dearborn, Michigan. A graduate year at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. The junior enters with an 0-1 record, an ERA of 7.5, but was good last week in relief of Connor O'Halloran. First pitch, fastball is fouled back up and out of play. Consistent low 90s for Ahmad. Cooper Ford is the first batter he faces off against with 2 away here in the 8th. Ford races his hand for time. Harajli from the belt delivers. That's popped up. Right field side. Long run for Van Mortal into the corner. Just inches over the netting. Right over by the first base area. Cooper Ford got off to an incredibly hot start this season. Took a deep step down, but game on April 9th against Illinois turned around that cold stretch. He went 3 for 4 with 2 doubles. Bounce towards third. Voigt plays it in fair territory. Great throw across the body. That'll do it for the top of the 8th inning. Harajli gets the call here in the top of the 8th. Job well done. And the score is Michigan 11, Northwestern 5 as we head to bottom 8 here in Ann Arbor on your home for Michigan baseball. Fourth pitcher of the day for Northwestern, as Jim Foster has made a call to the bullpen for the Wildcats. It's Drew Dixon, 6'3", 226-pounder. First-year right-hander from Zionsville, Indiana. Will face off against Jimmy Obertop, leading off the inning for Michigan. Wolverines an 11-5 lead here in Ann Arbor at Ray Fisher Stadium, what I would consider one of the best views in collegiate baseball. Dixon from the windup, slightly to the right side of the rubber, third base side. Fastball, ball one, 86 miles an hour. You've got the big house all across right field, Chrysler Center in right center. The new batter's eye in center field, just past the fence at 395, 2-0 on Overtop. Another fastball low, not a great start here for Dixon. 3 balls, no strikes. His ERA is 10.64. Overtop at 1 for 3, takes fastball outside, a 4-pitch walk. Leads off the 8th for Michigan. Here's a pinch hitter for Michigan, Joe Longo. Steps into the box for Jack Van Mortal. Another substitution for Michigan coming as Jimmy Overtop will exit and Jake Marty will enter. So potentially figure that Jake will go to first base and Joe Longo will now take over the DHing duties. Four-pitch walk for Dixon to start his day out of the pen. First pitch here to Joe Longo. And instead, he will check on the new runner, Jake Marty. In high school at Zionsville High School in Indiana, 5-1 record his senior year as the captain. He batted .344, but his ERA was just above 1. It's a breaking ball for a strike. First pitch to Longo, it's 0-1. Dixon was first team All-State, first team All-Conference. Here's a line shot right center field. That's going to be down. Jake Marty with a lot of speed around second, heading towards third. He will get there. Runners on the corners, nobody out. Joe Longo, a pinch hit single. Well, let's see if the day will continue the way it's gone for Tito Flores. He has gotten very hot as of late. And today, well, that's continued. He is 4 for 4 with 4 line drive singles. Graduate of Brother Rice. First pitch to him is a fastball for a strike. Now has a 10-game hit streak that began during the MSU series. Wolverines and Spartans split 2-2 even here in 2023. There's a slider for a ball, a bit up and out to Tito Flores. It's 1-1. Joe Longo, the runner on first. Jake Marty, the pinch runner for Jimmy Obertop, is over at third. 11-5 Michigan lead. Longo slides back safely to first. Tito was batting .238. Coming into this game this afternoon, his average is now .259, a 21-point bump. A slider is swung on and fouled off the glove of Cooper Ford. Count 1-2. Working from that third base side of the rubber, crouched knees for Tito Flores. He pops one up and should be safely out of play. We'll do it again at 1-2. Tito has been a staple in this Michigan lineup now, especially since 2021, where he registered 198 plate appearances, 279 a year ago, 172 this year. 1-2. Popped up, right field side. Over is Markinson, and he will watch it fall out of play. Tito took his talents to the Cape Cod League last summer to play for Hyannis after back-to-back years in the Northwoods League with Traverse City. Won a championship with the Traverse City Pittsbitters up there. Batted .295 for that team, an incredible summer for him after batting .325 at Michigan. 1-2 is a slider that's popped up. Deep depth center field. Harustich over in the right center will make the catch. Longo will trot towards second and retreat. Jake Marty in to score. And Tito Flores will still have a 4-for-4 day as he flies out to center, but it scores Jake Marty, and the score is now 12-5 Wolverines. Here is Mitch Voigt. Had a great day defensively and is now 2-for-4 at the plate. And first pitch he sees is a breaking ball that is skied foul. Across the overhang on the right field side of Ray Fisher Stadium, which pretty decent crowd for a 1 o'clock start on a Friday. Not too many people out of work, not too many people out of school quite yet. 0-1 inside, almost got Mitch Voigt. Does a 180 out of the way and steps back into the box with a 1-1 count to his name. Now 2-1. The strikeouts for Mitch Voigt in his freshman season. Bit of an issue in comparison to his walks drawn, but he swings the bat a lot. An aggressive freshman, 40 strikeouts to 12 walks. 2-1. There's a big swing there, and he hooks it foul right side. Michigan slightly cooled off in the 5th and 6th innings. At one point, the score was 8-5, but the Wolverines have scored 4 unanswered runs to propel themselves to a 12-5 edge. Ball 3, a bouncing fastball. Joe Longo, the runner at first. Mitch Voigt wearing number 55. Stands in the box. Here is the payoff from Dixon. Swung on and chopped through the hole on the left side. Longo into second. Mitch Voigt jogs to first. Now a 3-for-5 day for Mitch Voigt. And now Jordan Rogers will likely be able to swing away after bunting in his pinch hit appearance his last time up. Did a great job. He moved Tito Flores and Mitch Voigt to second and third base respectively. Then Greg Pace Jr. was subbed out for Casey Buckley, who drove in both runners. First pitch to Rogers. Slider away. Big swing at a fly ball now into right field. Tanner makes the catch for Northwestern. He puts some juice behind the throw into third base, an accurate one. Joe Longo stays at second. Casey Buckley will now get his second opportunity at the plate. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be all Ahmad Harajli in the top of the 9th inning for Michigan with at least a 7-run lead. We'll see if Buckley can pass baton off one more time to Cody Jeffress. who has had just an incredible day at the plate. 4 for 5. Mitch Voigt trying to catch that. He's 3 for 5. Tito Flores 4 for 4. 0-1 to Buckley. It's a breaking ball low that scoots in between the wickets, is kicked around just a bit by Cooper Ford. One ball, one strike with Casey Buckley. Doing battle here with Dixon. Chopped of one. A ground ball foul into the Northwestern dugout. Although Michigan starters listed as to be determined, at least on Northwestern's media guide here, it'll be likely Noah Renard tomorrow and Jacob Denner on Sunday. Breaking ball misses the outside corner by a touch. Runners on first and second base here with Casey Buckley at the plate. Two balls and two strikes. The 20th pitch here from Dixon in relief. Lifted towards right center. Long run for Tanner. Calls off Hrustic and makes the catch. Last chances at the plate coming up here for Northwestern. Michigan extends their lead to 7. It's 12-5 from Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor when we come back for potentially the final third of this ball game on your home for Michigan baseball. Final frame at the plate. Chances for Northwestern. At one point was an 8-5 ball game. Michigan off to a really hot start. The Northwestern clawed their way back to make it 8-5. And now we sit here at 12-5. Zach Linfield and Nick Muscarrick with you. From Ray Fisher Stadium in Ann Arbor, Ahmad Harajli fires fastball, ball one. Outside to Evan Minarvik, 7, 8, and 9 for Northwestern here in the ninth. Fastball high. Harajli fumbles the ball on the mound, picks it back up, checks Pickchom, and steps back up to the rubber. Michigan shifts here on Minarvik. A quick 3-0. Voigt, Jeffress, Burton, all to the left side of second base. Couple defensive changes. Van Remortel is out. Joe Longo at first base. Fastball misses outside. And a 4-pitch walk for Evan Minarvik. So Jake Marty stays in the dugout for Michigan. Owen McGolfitrick, Northwestern shortstop, into the box. Off the glove of the Michigan catcher Casey Buckley, and to the backstop. It's 1-0. And Harajli has missed with all 5 to start the 9th inning. Plenty of insurance on the board right now for the Wolverines. It's 12-5. Rajley's 1-0. Just off the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. 0 for 6 for Ahmad. And before he can fire another pitch, Tracy Smith will step out of the dugout. Eamon Horwedel will make his way down to the bullpen just in case. Yeah, he's going to quickly get warmed up down there. A long walk for Coach Smith. And while we've got this pause, we may as well take a look at the standings in the Big Ten, which are really heating up, and we'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard here in a minute. Every single team above Illinois really still has a chance to grab the top spot in the Big Ten. Because remember, only 8 teams get a shot at the Big Ten tournament. Maryland, 13-5. IU 1 game behind them at 12-6. Rutgers 2 games behind, 11-7. Iowa, Nebraska, Michigan, Purdue, all with 10 wins apiece. Iowa with 1 less loss than everyone else. They are 10-7. Everyone else at 10-8, tied for 5th. There's a fastball for a strike from Ahmad Harajli. McElpatrick is 1 for 3. His average 1 hair, now above 200 at 201. Michigan State and Illinois behind that tie for 5th. There's another fastball for a strike. That one into a beautiful spot into the outside corner. It's now 2-2. Rajli looking for the first out of this 9th inning with the runner on second base. The pitch swung on and fouled back to the screen. Another fastball, this one at 93. Michigan State, the Spartans, 9-8. Illinois at 11-10. Minnesota, Penn State, Ohio State, Northwestern, all 7 wins or less. Another big swing. This one fouled up and out of play behind us. First behind home plate. For the sake of it, Minnesota 7-11, Penn State 6-11, Ohio State 6-15. Northwestern, the only team eliminated right now, 3-14. Trying to play spoiler. Line drive left side on a breaking ball is fouled off. Ricochets into left field. Tito Flores will sauce it into the bullpen. John Torella also up for Michigan with Horwedel. The 2-2. That's fouled off the knob of the bat. It was. Took a dangerous ricochet towards the Northwestern dugout. Tony Livermore rolls it back. The 2-2 again from Harajli. High into the air, center field coming on Rogers. Burton retreating. Now the right fielder Velasquez calls everyone off. 1 away here in the 9th inning. Fly out of McElpatrick. There's 1 in the back pocket for number 34, Harajli. Now 9-hole hitter Tony Livermore. But things certainly starting to heat up here in the Big Ten, the out-of-town scoreboard. 6 p.m. later today, 3 different ball games. UNC Greensboro in Columbus for a 3-game set. Michigan will find their way to Columbus next weekend for 3. There's ball 1 to Livermore, fastball low. Purdue and Indiana, big rivalry down in the Hoosier State. Their opener in Bloomington today at also 6 o'clock. Illinois at Rutgers, also at 6. Fastball for strike 1. Then at 6:30, Minnesota and Maryland begin a 3-game set in College Park, the 1-1. Fastball for a strike right by Livermore, who bent over the plate and knew it right away. Would expect him to come with fastball here, that last one, the hardest thrown of the day at 93. 92.97 for being exact. Livermore raises one in the air, right field. Velasquez scurrying back right in front of the track will make the catch, and there is two away here in Ann Arbor. Then finally, Michigan State and Iowa begin a three-game set. That's at 7 o'clock. Hawkeyes hosting a three-game set there, and then Penn State at Nebraska, a 7:05 start time in Lincoln. Michigan with 3 here against Northwestern, 1 on Tuesday against Xavier, and then 3 against the Buckeyes starting on Thursday. So big chance for Michigan to cement themselves in the Big Ten tournament. First pitch just off the plate to Luke Tanner, who was 1 for 4, 2 punch-outs, and a 2-run home run back in the 5th. The 1-0 is a fastball up and away. Walking back to second base, the only base runner here in this inning, and so far against Harajli. It's Menarvik, who walked on 4 straight. There's a fastball for a strike. Streams into the outer part of the plate. It's 2-1. 12-5 Michigan. That last fastball at 94 from Harajli. 17 hits to just 8 for Northwestern. There's strike 2. He's reaching back a little more per pitch. That one at 94.5. Well, pitch 22 will be the one for Ahmad Harajli. Michigan leads by 7. 2 balls, 2 strikes in the count. 2 away for Northwestern here, top 9. The pitch. Fouled off right side. We'll have to do it again. Tremendous day at the plate for Michigan. The top 2 especially, Jeffress and Burton. And sliding down the lineup, Flores and Voigt. Beautiful days at the plate. Here's the 2-2 again. There's a fastball high. Count is now full. Waiting on deck is Bennett Markinson. He is 2 for 4. After that would be Ferrer. The 3-2. Swung on and missed. Michigan wins. A 12-5 final here in Ann Arbor. Ahmad Harajli puts the Wildcats away here in the 9th inning. Strands a runner on second base, and Michigan, they win the opener here from Ray Fisher Stadium in a must-have series for Michigan. A good start, a great start. A 12-5 final for Michigan. We'll step away here in Ann Arbor for just a moment, collect ourselves, do a quick post-game show, and we'll be away with you here on WCBN Sports. Final score here in Ann Arbor, Michigan wins 12-5 over the Northwestern Wildcats. Tremendous day at the plate. A good start from Connor O'Halloran. He had his stuff working. 2 home runs. Kind of defined his day with the 5 earned runs. Final stat line of 7 2/3. 8 hits, 5 earned runs. Did not walk anybody. And punched out 9 over 110 pitches this afternoon for the junior left-hander from Mississauga, Ontario. He improves to 8-4. The loss to Michael Farinelli. His record now at 1-9. Northwestern's total record at 8-36. Michigan, they will improve to 25-23. His stat line: 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. Also did not walk anybody. And he punched out 2 over just 52 total pitches. Northwestern's runs, they were on the big fly today. Stephen Harustich and Luke Tanner with 1 apiece, both 2-run bombs. Luke Tanner's coming in the 5th. Steven Hrustich's home run coming in the 4th. But Michigan's offense today was hot from the get-go. They had 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, did not score in the 5th and 6th innings, and then 3 in the 7th, 1 more in the 8th, on their way to a 12-5 win. But at the plate, their approaches today were fantastic, led by Cody Jeffress, who led off the game with a double and was then scored later that inning by Jimmy Obertop with 2 outs. Jeffress finishes 4 for 5. Ted Burton, 2 for 5. And what about the day from Tito Flores? He goes 4 for 4 and raises his point average up 21 spots. Mitch Voigt, then 3 of 5. But total, Nick, I think their lineup did exactly what they had to do to win a a series opener in a series, as we mentioned plenty of times, that Michigan had to have.
Yeah, great way to start it off. Like you said, this is a game that they needed to get, and they got it.
2 more with Northwestern here this weekend. It's expected that Noah Renard will get the start tomorrow against Northwestern starter Sam Gerwal, and then Sunday will be Jacob Denner against Luke Bonecci. But that has yet to be seen. Michigan wins the opener here against Northwestern on a Friday afternoon game, which was shifted down due to potential rain. Wolverine winners, 12-5. Signing off, my name is Zach Linfield alongside my good friend Nick Muscaric this afternoon. We'll always leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.